morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you so much for coming today. I'm Lisa Freeman. I am the Governor's representative for Highway Safety for the state of Louisiana and the Executive Director of the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission. And I am very gratified to be joined today by our esteemed speakers that you see standing alongside me. And I do know that we have public officials in the audience, both present and past. And so at this time, I would like anyone who is a public official just to, claim that so they can be recognized and honored. I see we have a lot of folks even out of parish folks. Yes, I am. Hello. Well, thank you all so much for your service, and thank you for supporting our Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over law enforcement campaign, which cuts down on the horrible scourge of impaired driving in Louisiana. At this time, I would ask the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission Board of Commissioners Chairman, who is Jay O'Quinn, to come to the podium and to present a special honor on behalf of the Governor's Office.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you all for being here this morning. I'll read Governor Landry's proclamation. Whereas impaired driving is a serious public safety issue in Louisiana that impacts thousands of innocent travelers on our roadways every year, and whereas during the Independence Day holidays from 2019 to 2023 in Louisiana, 321 individuals were injured and 16 individuals were killed in motor vehicle crashes that involve an alcohol-impaired driver. And whereas over 30% of all Louisiana traffic fatalities in 2023 were alcohol-related, resulting in hundreds of lives lost. And whereas the human cost of impaired driving crashes is devastating to the victims and the offenders, their families, friends, and co-workers. And whereas the financial impact of impaired driving crashes is devastating to the entire state in terms of increased costs for health care, insurance, infrastructure repairs, lost time, and valuable first responder resources. And whereas it is illegal in Louisiana to operate a motor vehicle if the driver is impaired or has a breath or blood alcohol level of 0.08% or higher. And whereas the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission has made funds available to law enforcement agencies across Louisiana to identify and arrest drivers who are suspected of impaired driving during the Independence Day holiday. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Landry, Governor of Louisiana, do hereby proclaim July 2nd through 6th, 2025 as Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over Enforcement.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we always thank the Governor's Office and the Governor himself for just being such an advocate for traffic safety and for public safety in general. Thank you for that, sir. It is now a true honor for me to introduce our first speaker. She is fighting tirelessly for our rights and our values. Armed with more than 3 decades of experience, she has challenged federal overreach, defended the rule of law, and upheld Louisiana's sovereignty with unwavering dedication and integrity. She has done this to ensure a brighter future for Louisiana and for the people who call it home. Please help me welcome our Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here today. This is such an important thing to all of us on an ongoing basis. Thank you, Lisa, and everyone involved in the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission for having me speak here today, especially in front of Independence Day weekend. It's an honor for me to support law enforcement always and the agencies and prosecutors that are involved in the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign this year and every year. We know that we all love to celebrate. We celebrate our state, we celebrate our families, and we celebrate our country. But sometimes people celebrate a little much, and what we don't want is for them to get behind the wheel. No, I don't think that. I think one of the worst things that law enforcement officers have to experience in their job is having to deliver the news to a mother or a father or their siblings that they've lost a family member because of the actions of an impaired driver. That is truly, I think, one of the worst things. As a parent, I know that one of the things that we always worry about as our children get older and become drivers is getting a phone call in the middle of the night. And really, it doesn't have to be the middle of the night. It can be any time, but it's just one of those things that we always fear is that phone call or that knock at the door. And so we're here to urge people to do what it takes to avoid causing that problem ever. We always have opportunities now for anybody to get a ride home. You just don't need to get behind the wheel. Law enforcement will be on high alert throughout the entire state looking for impaired drivers. That includes if you're operating a boat on any of our waterways. And the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries agents will be patrolling our bayous and rivers for impaired drivers. Holiday weekends are always a high-risk time for drunk driving accidents. And so we need to avoid those trends this year and every year. I want to bring to attention especially the issue of underage drunk driving. There are some alarming statistics. The 5-year statistics from the Center for Analytics and Research in Transportation Safety at LSU show that from 2019 to 2023, drivers under 21 who had been drinking were in 89 fatal crashes. 89. Now that's not the number of people who died, that's the number of crashes. Drivers under 21 who had been drinking were in 1,410 injury crashes. A driver under 21 is legally impaired if their blood alcohol level is 0.02. For adults, the threshold is 0.08. It really doesn't take a lot of alcohol to get you to those levels. So let me be clear, if you choose to drink and drive in Louisiana, then you will be arrested and you will be prosecuted. No ifs, ands, or buts. We take this law seriously because it costs people their lives. We have strict laws on the books in our state, and lawmakers just passed stiffer penalties in the last legislative session. But in today's world where you have Uber and Lyft and other friends and family who will come and get you if you need a ride, there's just no excuse for impaired driving, and it's not worth it, and we won't tolerate it in Louisiana. With bail, fines, legal fees, court costs, increased insurance rates, ignition interlock device costs, and so much more, a DUI can cost you more than $10,000. And there are plenty of other consequences that also come with a DUI. So all you have to do is call for a ride. Ask a friend, call an Uber, call a Lyft, and keep your family and friends safe, and stay the night at a friend's house if you're drinking there. Just don't get behind the wheel. We don't need to see another parent lose a child, a mom lose her son, a dad lose a daughter, a grandparent lose a grandchild, and a person lose their best friend. It's just not worth it. So be safe.
Thank you so much, Attorney General Merle, for those remarks. They were just spot on about what the consequences are and how easy it is to avoid all those risks. Now, allow me to introduce to you Robert P. Hodges, Colonel of Louisiana State Police. Colonel Hodges is the 27th Superintendent of LSP. He has had a long tenure with LSP, having begun his career in 1995 as a patrol trooper assigned to Troop B in Kenner. He has held career assignments in both patrol and investigations as a trooper, a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, and a major, and now as colonel. Prior to his appointment, currently, he served as Command Inspector of the Region 2 Patrol. Please help me welcome Colonel Robert P. Hodges.
Thank you, Executive Director Freeman. Good morning, everyone. It's warm, but it's a holiday weekend, so we welcome any day, whether the sun is out and the wind is blowing. Today, we stand united, our public safety partners, to support Louisiana Highway Safety Commission's Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. At Louisiana State Police, one of our top priorities is protecting lives on Louisiana's highways. Impaired driving is one of the most preventable things we face, and yet it continues to devastate families across Louisiana. During this campaign, Louisiana State Troopers will be out in force in all areas of the state. Our patrols will include sobriety checkpoints, increased nighttime enforcement, and close coordination with our local law enforcement partners that you see here today and others across Louisiana. We're here to prevent tragedies, and that's why Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over is also a public education effort. You hear the message across the airwaves, online, and in your communities. The goal is to remind everyone, if you're impaired, don't drive. If you plan to drink, we encourage you to plan ahead. Use a designated driver, call a rideshare or a cab, use public transit, or take advantage of the local sober ride programs throughout Louisiana. Drunk driving crashes occur often because impaired drivers have slower reaction times and poor judgment. According to the Center for Analytics and Research in Transportation Safety at LSU, a motor vehicle occupant is 10 times more likely to die in a crash involving alcohol than one without. This isn't just data, it's reality faced by far too many Louisiana families. While enforcement efforts intensify over holiday periods like Independence Day, our message is year-round. There is no excuse to get behind the wheel impaired. So please, think before you drink, plan before you party, and if you see someone who's about to make a dangerous decision, speak up. If you witness a dangerous situation while driving, you can dial star 577 or star LSP to connect to your local troop across Louisiana. Let's work together to make Louisiana roads safe for everyone. Thank you. God bless Louisiana.
Thank you, Colonel Hodges. At this time, I would ask the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission Board of Commissioners Vice Chairman, Juan Crucio, to come forward so that he can make a special introduction.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman.
Yes, sir.
Our next speaker is no stranger to law enforcement. He has served on many boards and commissions throughout the state and the law enforcement community. After a lengthy career with the Attorney General's office, he now serves as our sheriff, West Baton Rouge Sheriff Jeff Badrum.
Good morning, and thank y'all for all being here. I want to begin by welcoming our guests, public officials, and law enforcement partners. We're proud to host this press conference right here in West Baton Rouge Parish. I appreciate you all standing alongside us. As sheriff, my top priority is protecting the lives of more than 28,000 residents that we call home here in West Baton Rouge Parish. But public safety doesn't stop at parish lines. It takes strong partnerships, local, state, and federal, to tackle challenges we face. Your presence here today proves that commitment. From 2019 to 2023, 45 people lost their lives in motor vehicle crashes in West Baton Rouge Parish. Of those, 10 were killed in crashes involving a driver who had been drinking. That means about 22% of our fatalities were alcohol related. While that's lower than the statewide average of 32%, it's still too high. Let me be clear, one life lost to impaired driving is one too many. That's why we proudly support the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. Our deputies will be out increasing patrols throughout the parish, showing zero tolerance for impaired driving, especially as we approach the 4th of July holiday. We're asking everyone to do their part. Plan ahead, use a designated driver, call a rideshare, or simply stay put if you've been drinking. Because your choices impact more than just you. They affect families, neighbors, and our entire community. Let's work together to make this Independence Day a safe one for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheriff Bergeron. So I don't know if you all noticed, I did on the way here today to get to this wonderful spot on the levee. You must walk past a graveyard, and there's a solemnity, as we all know, about graveyards. A sadness, of course, but a seriousness also. Graveyards prompt us to reflect on life and death and choices. I think about the life and death of 1,046 people. That's how many people in Louisiana died from 2019 to to 2023 in drunk driving crashes. That's 1,046 people who will not be celebrating the 4th of July. That's 1,046 people who left behind thousands more to grieve the loss of a parent, a child, a spouse, a friend, all because someone made a selfish choice to drink and drive. Here's an old-fashioned word: responsibility. As citizens, our responsibility is to obey the law. And that means you do not drink and drive. And often we hear, this is a cultural thing. No one should say that. No one should say that. There is nothing in our proud Louisiana culture that says it's okay to drink and drive. You know what is part of our culture? Taking responsibility. And our campaign today is about just that. Drive sober or get pulled over. Driving sober, that's the responsibility part. Getting pulled over, that's where law enforcement comes in. I believe that Louisiana is witnessing in wonderful ways a groundswell of support for the rule of law. We are in good times. And as Colonel Hodges has often and accurately noted, public safety is on the rise. And so is leadership. Standing with me here today is an all-star lineup of heavy hitters, public servants who go to bat for us each and every day, making our communities better and safer places. But you know, there are some folks out there who just don't get it. In a highway safety world, in our highway safety world, safety professionals have a carrot and a stick. The carrot is persuasion, what we call social norming messaging, to convince you to do the right thing. You've heard them, very nice, solid messages like, friends, don't let friends drive drunk. Buckle up, put the phone down, speeding catches up with you. The carrot is effective for most people, but some people, they don't listen. That's where the stick comes in. The stick is a warning. There's no equivocation. There's no pretty please, will you be a good driver? The stick is simple and direct. Drive sober or get pulled over. Today is not a carrot day. If someone is hard-headed enough to drink and drive after we've spent time and millions of dollars educating them to give their keys to a friend, to call a ride share, to take a bus, a taxi, a train, a rickshaw, anything except driving a car, if they are that stubborn and callous about the danger that they pose to innocent travelers, then you bet Colonel Hodges and Sheriff Bergeron will pull them over and arrest them. And Attorney General Merle and District Attorney Clayton for this parish will prosecute them. Why do these amazing officials do what they do? Why are they here today in support of this campaign? Because families and tourists on the road during the 4th of July holiday, and really throughout the entire year, they have a right. They have a right and should expect to travel our wonderful state free from the fear of encountering an impaired driver. It's on behalf of the good people of Louisiana that we say enough to preventable death on our roadways. We refuse to accept another headstone in the name of impaired driving. Thank you all so much for coming today. God bless and safe travels.